We're right here, downtown Main Street, Starkville. Joining us now, the mayor of Starkville, Lynn Spruill. Mayor, thanks for coming on.
Oh, wouldn't miss it for the world. Thank you for asking.
And appreciate the Chamber of Commerce weather today.
Isn't this perfect?
Yeah.
The leaves
awesome.
are turning. It's busy downtown. I love it.
Yeah. Big week here. We've been talking to everybody about the announcement, huge economic development project coming to the area. You got to be excited.
Oh, couldn't be. This has been a great week on multiple fronts, and that's obviously the biggest one from a regional standpoint. But we've been cutting ribbons all week at the Triangle Crossing, the new center that's opened up. And actually, I just got, I'll make this little announcement. I just got an email from MDEQ that we got approved for our first round of funding.
Okay.
For the bill grant, which is off of 182 just down the hill there. So we're really excited about that. That's that matching funding that we were really looking forward to that's going to make a big difference in the community as well.
Are you talking about the for the water project?
The ARPA, yeah.
The ARPA
It's
money.
water, sewer, and stormwater, right. And it's on the bill grant downtown. It's about $5.6 million. So
awesome.
We're really excited about that.
Yeah, so, we've talked about that quite a bit on the program. This was a program put together by the state legislature in the 22 session where they carved out about $450 million for water projects in municipalities and counties, and it's allocated in the form of a matching program, grant program, where cities match the dollars the state allocates. And the DEQ was put in charge of administering that program. Cities had to, municipalities had to submit applications in accordance with the specifications, and then they sign off on that. So congratulations.
Thank you.
Yours went through, and you got a big chunk of money. And so I'm thinking that will allow you to likely make some improvements on existing systems and perhaps expand a little bit to accommodate growth.
Yes, what it's going to do for us, if you don't recall, you and I talked about it a while back, the bill grant along 182, we got a big grant for it.
Yep.
Started out as an 80-20 match. It's now up to like a 50-50 match.
Okay.
So those overages are going to be taken care of in large part by this matching funding for ARPA, because those are huge water improvement, stormwater improvement, and sewer improvement projects down in there to make that corridor more attractive for economic development.
Yeah, that is awesome. So what else you got going on in Starkville other than this really big project? You talking about going to ribbon cuttings. That's always exciting. I'm assuming that means you got new businesses opening up. We do.
We've got all kinds of businesses opening up. And the Castle Properties and the Rise Partners created this and it was in partnership with the city and the county for a TIF for an economic development project that we haven't had in the city certainly in my recent memory. But it's a large kind of it's a big shopping center area. So we've got Aldi and Ulta and PetSmart and all those things, Marshalls, the things that we haven't had recently that we're really excited about having, because it keeps people in town rather than going out of town to do some of that shopping. Yeah.
So when you look at economic development projects, especially the size and scope of this aluminum fabricator, when they select an area, certainly there are a lot of factors that enter into that decision, including logistics and power and site and all those more physical-oriented aspects, but quality of life's big too, is it not?
It is, and I think that's what Starkville excels in. We have spent a good bit of our time, our energy, our money on creating a community where we want people to want to live. Obviously, you can't just have residents, but you've got to have businesses that go with it to support it. But part of that is the retail structure, the restaurants, the shopping, all of that is available here. And with the university here, you have a broad spectrum of interests, and people in particular interested in biking, walking paths, just your general feel of a place that feels like home.
Yeah.
And we also have got a Main Street project coming up that's about a $10 million project to create a place where you can sit outside with this wonderful SuperTalk thing and watch the world go by.
That is awesome.
Deepen our sidewalks up and add landscaping, and so lighting, that sort of thing.
And you've also got great school system, great health care as well. Those are also quality of life assets.
Absolutely. Those are the things people look at when they plan on being somewhere for home and for long term. There are a lot of people who come to Mississippi State and think they're going to only be here a couple of years, and 20 years later they look up and they're still here. And there's a reason for that. It's because they love living here. Yeah,
that's awesome. I also think one of the things that probably sealed the deal or certainly factored into the decision of late with this big project is the quality of higher ed, the community, the community colleges, of course, Mississippi State, all within just a few miles here.
Absolutely. When I ran for election the first time, it was I want to make Starkville the best place to live, work, play, and learn. Okay. And learning is a big piece of that because we have an enormous capacity for learning institutions here with EMCC, with the community, and certainly the university, as well as our public school system. Now we are a consolidated public school system. It is really doing well.
What about the Starkville Development Partnership, where we are here today, Mayor? How critical are they to the success of the city and for economic development projects and bringing in new companies, new businesses, people in general? How important is that?
Incredibly important. Well, it's a partnership. You can't do it without each one of these pieces coming into play, and the partnership is a big piece of that. Our downtown and how we're perceived and how we want to grow and develop is critical, as are the outlying areas, and they embrace all of that. Yeah. So from the North Star Industrial Development Park up to the north that we started, we're going to see movement in there. I'm hoping that this aluminum plant will bring in some second tier, third tier development for that park, and a part of that is what the partnership helps coordinate, along with making sure our existing businesses understand that we think they're critical to our success as well. We want to keep the old happy, and we want to bring in the new.
Sure.
So it's a broad spectrum of what you look at when you're trying to keep people retention and attracting new ones.
When folks come into the area that are considering locating here, either businesses or just individual residents, maybe their work brings them here, or they're just looking to uproot and find a better place to raise their family, and they come here and maybe it's their first time and you interact with them or folks do, what kind of reaction do you get? Are they usually surprised at just how good it is?
They are, and how warm and friendly we are.
Yeah.
And I think that's one of the beauties of a small town, but we're also understand that greater inclusiveness. And I think that, welcoming a stranger, not seeing a stranger actually, being really excited to have new people in town. That's why we have events, and we encourage people to come to town. We want them to feel good. I mean, the murals that we've got going up, all the things that kind of give that sense of community, that people feel like this is a place they want to be.
Yeah. How are you doing financially?
We're doing very well. We're all municipalities, everyone's challenged.
Yeah.
But we've been very prudent with our finances. We are doing a lot of big things, but we're doing them wisely. We're not getting outside our capacity. Obviously, a lot of the costs, material costs and things with the things that we're doing, as well as labor costs.
Yeah.
We're probably going to be looking at another increase in pay raises for our employees just to attract them and retain them.
Yeah.
It's very competitive out there right now, and it's extremely difficult to do, so we've got to do that, and we've got to attract people who want to come in and serve in some of these first responder capacities, police and fire. We've been very good in getting things like engineers, some of those skill sets, but it's a very competitive race for all of us, private sector, public sector. So, but financially speaking, I think we're looking good. But we are also the 5th lowest tax rate for the city.
Okay.
In the state for cities of our size. So we are in good shape. But that's not to say that I don't think we may find ourselves needing to do that just to keep up with those competitive labor costs and material costs.
Sure. I know that it's common for folks in your position to talk to your peers that run other municipalities. What usually kind of evolves, Mayor, as your biggest challenge, if there is one that sticks out?
Well, now that we're all out of COVID, we don't think we have any challenges anymore.
Yeah, that was enough.
Yeah, it was a big one, and we stayed in touch on that because none of us had gone through that before. And, we want to make sure we weren't working at cross purposes with Columbus or West Point or Clay County or any of those. So we were in touch about those things. But right now, I think it's going to be employees, retention of our best assets, which are our people.
Yeah, I was at a symposium yesterday, small business, family business. That just resonated across the board. It's the big issue, and folks are trying to get creative on how do you retain good staff, how do you attract new staff. It's just a really tight labor market, and we got the jobs information out today, and despite Fed funds rate going up, it still seemed to have a strong labor market.
I think we do.
Yeah,
Yeah.
It's amazing. Mayor, congratulations on all the success here in the city of Starkville. Thanks for coming on. Appreciate it.
Thanks for always giving me an opportunity to talk about Starkville.
You got it. Mayor Lynn Spruill has been our guest here. We're at the Greater Starkville Development Partnership in Starkville, Mississippi. We're taking a break.